Arabic language, the example that they gave in that Bible, it says Allah.
So many times when people hear the term
That's what it says. For Allah so loved the
Let's go
world.
ahead and get into this video. This should be interesting. I remember
If
first
it's
time I
not the same God, then why?
Christian God or the Jewish
All
God.
over the entire earth, we say Allah. Okay, so that's God to the Muslims. Some say it's not even the God of the Christians and so on. It's just a God. Some even said it's a moon God. But let us now look at the linguistic of the word Allah. It in itself is the beauty of Islam. Because the word in Arabic doesn't mean God. Just in case you thought it did, it doesn't. Because we have a word in Arabic for the word in English, God. It's called Ilah. Ilah, God. God, Ilah. That's the word. But when we speak about the one and only God, the one that's to be worshipped, the God of Adam, the God of Abraham, and the God of Moses, God of Jesus Christ, peace be upon him, and the God of Muhammad, peace be upon him, we're talking about essentially the only God that's worthy to be worshipped. No other God. Now, what would be the proof for this? I realize that we have a lot of detractors who will say, no, it's not true, I don't believe it. Let's get a proof from the English translation of the Bible. That's a good place to start. Around the earth, there are many hotels and motels. And almost every one of them that you go to, there's a drawer beside the bed that when you open it up, you'll find a book in there and you'll take it out. Now, what is that book? And you already know the answer. It's the Bible. It's the Gideon publication of the King James Version of the Bible. The Gideons are very proud of it because they've translated it into so many languages. If you'll turn a few pages right in the beginning, you'll find examples of the translation to Chinese and Korean and into Urdu, the language of Pakistan. You'll find it into Tamil. You'll find it translated into Afrikaans language, which happens to be the first. And the second language translated to is Arabiya, Arabic. And there is an example of each one of these languages from the verse in the Gospel of John, chapter 3, verse 16. And you know it very well. For God so loved the world. That's how it begins. And if you look in the Arabic language, the example that they gave in that Bible, it says Allah. Allah. That's what it says. For Allah so loved the world. So if it's not the same God, then why? All over the entire earth, everywhere I go, I find this exact same word being used in the Bible of the Christians. Now you might say, what about the Old Testament? Well, just in case you would like to check it out, you can obtain a copy of this from our website. It's called The Beauties of Islam. Let me spell it out for you. It starts with B, beautiesofislam.com. Go there and see for yourself. The example is right there. Page 1 of the book of Genesis, of the very beginning of the Quran. Page 1 has 17 verses. And there's the word Allah. Alif, Lam, Ha, 17 times. So just as it's the God for the children of Israel in Arabic language, and it's the God for the Arabs who are Christians, it's also the same God for the Muslims. The word is Allah. Why Allah? Why is it important to have this particular word, and why don't we have it in English? Now, I want to come to the etymology of the word. It comes from the word Ilah, and Ilah means God. But God is defined as what? Anything that's worshipped, whether it be something you can see or you don't see. Something you can touch or not touch, something that you can hear or not hear. A God could be anything. A God could be a rock, a stick, a stone, a bone. A God could be something that you can make with your hands. A God can be something you could use your imagination for. It could be a human being. A God could be anything. G-O-D, God could be anything. But there is no word in English for Allah. So when you translate the word Allah to be God, you've actually diminished the meaning of Allah. That's why whenever you translate the Bible from English to Arabic, you need to use the word Allah instead of God with a big G, which now gives us a clue to the problem. In the English language, they only have one word, God. Little G-O-D. It means something worshipped. It could be idols, images, pictures, statues. It could be human beings. It could be anything. This is God's. Little G-O-D-S. But when you mean the God, you have to capitalize the G. You have to make a big G. Now, what happens if you're going to start the sentence with the word God? You have to make a big G anyway, don't you? So you wouldn't know if it was God, big God, or God, a little God, just any old God. You wouldn't know. Also, whenever you're speaking to someone, they can't see the letters. So when you say God, which God? What God are you talking about? In Arabic, though, it's clear. When you say Ilah, okay, he's talking about a God. And Allah is an Ilah. But he's also Al-Ilah, the only Ilah. And when you say Allah, this firms it up. And there's no doubt in anybody's mind that you're talking about the one and only God. The word Allah in the Arabic language cannot be made plural. There can't be more than one. Okay, that perfectly fits the unique God of the believers, because there's not more than one. He's only one. There's no God beside God. Second point is this. It can't be made female or male. There's no gender to the word. In Arabic, all the words have gender. All words have gender. But this particular word is only having gender because of the Arabic language, not because Allah has gender. I'll give you an example. It always says like Allahu. This means Allah, He is. But when we say He, it's out of respect for Allah, because Allah is without gender, because He's not like His creation. Not male, not female. Additionally, we find that the examples in Quran, for instance, when Allah is talking about Himself, you'll find it says Nahnu. Nahnu means we. And Allah refers to Himself as Nahnu. He also says khalaqna. He says khalaqna. What does that mean? He's saying that we created. And throughout the Quran you find Allah referring to Himself as we, our, and us. And right away you're going to say, okay, if that's not plural, then what is? In fact, this is the royal we used by a king or a queen when they're giving decrees. We have it in English too, so you can understand. The king says, we decree the following, and he's talking about himself. It's the royal we. Now, I thought about this quite a bit, and I was trying to think, how could I give a better example? After all, most of us, myself included, never met a king, never met a queen, and so I'm not really familiar with that usage. Although it's there, I'm not sure what you're talking about. So then in studying the English language, we find that it's true that we do that when we speak to someone directly. Watch this. When I say, for instance, this cup. Okay. I would say, this is a cup. This is a cup of tea. I would say, this book is. I would say, those artifacts are. Those are. This is. These are. So I'm saying is and are. Did you catch this now? These things are. This is. Now when I speak to a human being, how do I do this? Well, I will say, you guys. All of you are. All of you are. A-R-E. But when I speak to somebody directly, do I say you is or you are? I will say you are. Why? Simply because this is the respect, honor, and dignity that I'm giving. There's no plural there. When I say to you, you are my friend. You are a lovely person. But why am I saying are? Why aren't I saying is? You is my friend. You is a lovely person. You'll say, man, this guy doesn't know English language. And in fact, that's how we can understand this usage of we and our when Allah is talking about Himself. This is the same as when I say I. I don't say I is, I say I am. And again, it's to show the, not plural, but rather the specific nobility, dignity, and honor that you give to the one who's speaking about himself and to the one he's speaking to. And in the same way, that's exactly what Allah is doing when He says Nahnu and Khalaqna and other examples throughout the Quran. So now what we've learned is that Allah's name itself is the perfect name for Allah. It is something that is so fantastic to describe who He is and who He isn't. The one and only God. There's none other like Him, nothing like unto Him, Allah, and at the same time, the dignity, the royalty, the honor that's due Him is contained in His name. Not like anything else, not male, not female, and yet He is the all Allah, the only God.
That was intense. But straight to the facts. Straight to the facts. So it comes to the point that Allah is mentioned in the Bible. Saying that Allah can't be translated. So you can't translate God into Arabic. You can't translate Allah into the Bible. So that's why it's in. Okay, so that's why it's in there. So if Allah is in the Bible, that's like more. That's more proof of how true Islam is. So there is no false in Islam. There is no false. Everything is written in the book. Like my Watwa family keeps saying, you have to read. You have to read. It's your boy Mr. Watwa. Get down in the comment section. Let me know what you think about this video. Also, if you got a video you want me to react to, get down in the comment section. Let me know and I will get to it. Also, if you got a if it's your first time on the channel, make sure you go ahead and subscribe and join the Watwa family. And before you leave, put a like on this video. I'm just more so thinking more about like how Islam and Christianity are so alike. Just little things are different here and there, but it's the same. It's almost like it's the same. It's just the wording is different, and then plus they don't believe in worshiping certain. In Islam they call it prophets. They don't believe in worshiping them as a god, because they have one God. I respect it. I respect it. I respect that. That's facts. That's respect. It's your boy Mr. Watwa. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Why? Because I post videos every day. So like I said before, if you haven't, make sure you go ahead and join the Watwa family and put a like on this video. And I'm going to see you tomorrow. Why? Because I post videos every day. Watwa family, take care. I love y'all. See y'all tomorrow.
Full of information, guys. Like, I got a clear understanding of what the word means now, and you can't really compare it to English. You know, you can't say in a direct way that, you know, because now they have a word in English that means God, like how he explained. It's so detailed. Wow, like it's so amazing. Like even the word, you cannot mistake the word Allah for anything else. You know what it is. You know what the word is. You know, like it's amazing. Like how he said in English, if you say God, you have to think, wait, do you mean with a big G or a small g? But if you say Allah, it means Allah. You know? That is so amazing, man. Guys, please hit the comments and tell me which videos you would like me to react to. And please subscribe if you're new. Don't mind me today, guys. I've got the flu, but I'll be okay. Pray for me, guys. Thank you very much for watching. I'll catch you guys on the flip side. I'm gone.
Very nice video. There's something that I reacted to, and a Christian from I think maybe the Middle East, or I'm not sure, but she commented saying since she speaks Arabic, she says Allah, but then she's not Muslim, she's Christian. So for me, it doesn't come as a shock that even in the Bible they used Allah to replace God, because like I said, it's really not a shock to me. Maybe others may argue saying, but if we translate this to English, it's God. But then that's the thing, we're praying to one God. I know someone is going to come in the comments and say, but the Trinity this, but the Trinity. I don't even follow the Trinity. So let's put the Trinity aside and just focus on the main God here. We pray to one God. Others may not. You and I do. So for someone to want to change the narration in the comments is, I think, quite rude. Like I said, God, there's only one God. You believe there's only one God. I believe there's one God. If someone believes otherwise, it's only with time that they'll recognize that there's only one God, despite whatever they believe in, whatever the case is. Even if they don't come to that conclusion, everything is going to be revealed to us when the world comes to an end. Otherwise, I love this video. I love you, Yusuf, and thank you to the person that suggested this. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and of course, do not forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in my next reaction video.
Get it? Allah, the only God. Okay, I respect that, and I believe in that. So thank you so much who requested that video, and thank you so much who watched until the end of this video. And I really like this kind of video. Wow, like I learned something from this guy. Wow. Okay guys, until next time, so don't forget to subscribe, hit likes, and click the bell. So bye everybody, bye.
Wow. I think it makes a lot of sense. What do you call it? According to what he was saying, I think that according to the Muslims, it makes a lot of sense that Allah is the only God. You get it? There's no capital G or capital whatever. Like that's the ultimate or observer of the situation. But I feel though he made a lot of points. I mean, for me on this video, I'm kind of agreeing with something that he was saying, especially the what.
So I understand everything you're talking about.
I think it picked the God and the capital G. Like that's what I picked the most. I feel like that's where the weight was lying. I don't know.
Because I feel like I'm a little bit confused.
What do you mean confused?
Is it that there is just one God in the world for every religion, or what?
Yeah, of course.
Is that what you were trying to say?
Yeah, there's one God, and according to Islam, is Allah. You get it?
For Christians, it's God.
For Christians, it's God. But now, when you say, "I thank God," which God are you referring to? With the capital G or the small G?
People usually write God as the capital G.
Yes, as a capital G. But now, you know, when you write, you can see the difference. But when you say, you can't see the difference. Nevertheless, probably you say, that God, that only God. Maybe you put those emphases. But now, if you just say, okay, most of the people like, I want to thank God, but which God are you thanking? Maybe in your mind, you know the kind of God you're thanking, but now you wouldn't know what type of God is thanking. For example, have you ever seen those awards, what do you call them?
It's like
celebrities say, I want to thank God. You don't know exactly what type of God are you thanking, you understand? So they might be actually worshipping other God other than that God, which is Allah. You get it?
But for them it's straightforward.
For them it's something else. You understand what I mean? Yeah. So I mean, we as Christians, Christians, they have to be, I don't know, maybe, I mean, I really dig this point that he was saying.
It creates less confusion for them.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, there's no confusion.
That's why some people think God is Jesus.
Exactly. I mean, look, I think God is Jesus. The capital G and the small g, these gods. Because according to what he was saying, God is anything. It can be this thing, it can be this. Now I think
that's worship.
Yeah, anything that is worship. It can be anything. You understand? So these people who say like, I thank God, probably is worshipping money. He's calling that God. That's why most of the people say, my mom is God. You get it? Because you worship your mom. Or probably you look at your mom as a deity and such kind of things. I mean, there's so much. Anyway, I mean, in Islam, there's not too much confusion. In Christianity, I think Christianity it is a better religion. It is a good religion, but I think there's so much confusion in it. But anyway, guys, what do you think?
I've told you what I think. I'm still confused. I really don't have much to say about it.
That part really actually made me feel like, because trust me, it makes sense. It makes a lot of sense. But unless people start speaking like, maybe referring to that, like the only God, by probably saying that God.
Yusuf Estes, as usual, he lays out things very simply and eloquently and just easy to digest. He did that for several things really well. But there was one thing though that I was still left confused about, and I'll talk about that at the end. I want to talk about some of the things that I noticed right off the bat that were really important that he addressed. And it is, yes, things are lost in translation. Sometimes when we look at language or when we read scriptures like the Bible or the Quran in English, sometimes we get hung up on the English term. And he showed that with the term God, because God, that's a term in English that is God. There's no word like it. I know some cases in scriptures use the term like Lord, but Lord is actually a different term in the original Hebrew language or in the Arabic. It's a different term altogether. So that's what we see things like Lord, God. But going back to the word God, in English, there's no way really to differentiate the one true God versus any other God that could exist. So in English, what they do, you'll notice it in the Quran or in the Bible, they make the G capital when it's talking about the one true God. But just like he mentioned in the video, if you begin with the word God in the start of a sentence, you have to capitalize the G. So because of the English language and the constraints on the language, you may not necessarily know exactly what God you're talking about. And you can plural the term gods, but with the capital God, you can't, there's no gods or term plural in English. So we run into some issues with it. And this is why when you go to Arabic, the term Allah is just for itself, and Ilah is its own separate term that you can also use for God. And he said that Allah is an Ilah, so Allah is a God, but Allah is the only one true supreme God. So that's not going to be found in English translations. We see similar things in even Hebrew, the Hebrew text. I know some of you are very familiar with the Hebrew text as well. There's different terms for God in Hebrew, like Elohim, Eloah, and there's also El, in Hebrew. So those terms usually translate to God or gods, lowercase g, but sometimes it's so hard to determine who you're actually talking about in the English language. So it's very important to understand language and go deeper into the meanings of words. We can't just rely on the translation of different scriptures and different writings because it may say something a little bit different than the original source text. So I thought you did a very good job in breaking that down. Also pointing out that the term Allah is genderless is really important. Again, because of language, we often use the term he or him when referring to God. And I've heard some circles use the term she because they're like, well, we use words like Mother Nature and things like that. So if God is genderless anyways, who cares what we use? We can say she or her. And technically that's a valid thing to say as well, because God, we know, is genderless when the term Allah is used. So that's also very important. God is not male or female. It's really important to understand that. God is outside of creation. God created male and female. The only part I was really confused about still is the use of the royal we. And Yusuf Estes, you use an example like when we say I am or you are when you're talking to a group. It's the same you are when you're talking to somebody singular as well. But we don't say we are. And yes, maybe kings say it, but just like him, I'm not really familiar with that term. We don't say we decree this in common language, like general use of the language. So I don't fully know. And his example was a little bit confusing to follow because I still don't see how that can relate to the terms like we and us and our when he's using the terms I am and you are and everything. Does that make sense where my confusion is, by the way? Because when I see that, even in the original languages, I'm reading it as plural. And now why is God speaking in plural? Oh, it's a royal we, it's a royal our, it's a stress of power, but it doesn't say that. And there's probably a better explanation out there. And Yusuf Estes, this video though, it didn't really clarify why that's used in my mind. I've also heard it explained that it's showing different dimensions of God, like God is multidimensional. So he could say we and our because he's not limited to one particular dimension or aspect or angle. He's so unlike anything that we can ever imagine that he can say I, our, we, and it's still pointing to him in a way. So yeah, if you guys do have any other videos or any understanding of why the terms we and our are used, I'm still not fully convinced about the royal we because that's just not common language. And it seems like it's a stretch. For me anyways. So if you guys can let me know too, because I love learning from you guys. Let me know down in the comment section if you have any thoughts on this or any links to other sources, articles, or videos that will sort of help explain it to me a little bit more. I'll really appreciate it. And that's it, guys. All in all, really, really, really good video. I love learning from Yusuf Estes and everything. He mentioned a lot of things great, like the use of Allah in the Arabic translation of the Bible. So the term Allah is actually in the Bible. It's not a different God. It's not referring to a different God than the Christians or the Jews. It's the same exact God being pointed to. And also God doesn't have a gender. He did that really clear. Just that one point of confusion about the plurality of God. So that's where I'm going to leave off, guys. If you enjoyed this one, leave a like on this video. And if this is your first time here to the channel, hit that subscribe button and ring that bell. That way you'll be notified every time I post a new video. Until the next video where we can chit chat about something else, stay awesome. I'll see you soon. Later.